Welcome to the yoga method. Today, Aden and I will be taking you through just your vinyasa flow. So come and join us at the top of the mat or the left end of your mat when you're ready. Feet hip distance to begin with. And as always, we bring hands to Andali Mudra, close down the windows of our eyes. And we arrive fully and completely in our bodies. Breathing in and out through the nose. And setting an intention for your practice only if you wish. On your next exhalation, open your eyes and release your hands. We'll circle and sweep our arms high on our in-breath. And I'd like for you just to bring your hands behind your head. On your inhalation, take your elbows wide, lift your eye gaze, lift your heart. On your exhalation, elbows in, tuck your chin, and just rolling down as far as your body will allow. Stay for an in-breath. Stay for an out-breath. And on your next inhalation, just tucking the chin, rolling your way up one vertebra at a time. Opening through the elbows and lifting through the heart space. On the out-breath, elbows in, chin tucks, and we'll just do one movement, one breath, rolling down sequentially. And then rising up, articulating the spine. Opening elbows wide, lifting through the heart. On the exhalation, chin tucks, rolling through the upper back, middle back, lower back, and all the way into our hamstrings. Inhaling to rise and shine all the way up. Elbows lift, hearts lift. One more time. So this is called a Jefferson curl in other realms, other modalities. But in yoga, come on up, Aden, we'll just call this a spinal roll. Please reach your arms high and wide, flip your thumbs, interlace your fingers, take a baby back bend as you open through front body a little bit more, lifting your eye gaze, knuckles to the floor, hearts to the ceiling, expansion across front body for one more deep breath. And when you're ready, release your chin and just bring your hands back to your sides. Moving through our flow, inhaling high as the breath comes into the body. On the exhalation over, we go into a forward fold, releasing our head and shoulders last. On the in-breath, we'll lift our heads, lift our hearts before stepping or hopping, transitioning on our knees or our toes through a chaturanga. Take a baby cobra or an upward facing dog before lifting up and back to child's pose or downward facing dog. So let's all take 2 breaths here. And then ripple our way forward into a down dog. And with this first down dog, I invite you to move in any way that feels good to your body. So paddling through your heels, rolling through your shoulders. But please check that your hands are shoulder distant. Your feet are hip distant. And it's not about getting your heels on the floor. It's more about maintaining a really beautiful long spinal position. Take one more breath with or without movement. And when the time is right, we'll all meet in stillness, gazing between our feet or between our knees. One more full deep breath in. We're going to do some spinal ripples forward. So on your in-breath, ripple your way. I'm going to land my knees, and Aden won't, but we'll transition straight into a baby back bend or an upward facing dog. And on your exhalation, tuck your chin and ripple your way back to your downward facing dog. So inhale, rolling sequentially again through the spine from from flexion to extension. And then we ripple our way back into our downward facing dog. Let's just do 2 more. So full breath in as we ripple and flow. Full breath out, chin to chest, lifting hips, descending through your heels any amount. One more time, flowing forward, scoop the belly beautifully, slowly moving into your extension before gently tucking the chin and moving back for us. Please step your feet together. Slide forward into a high plank, and then grounding into your left hand, taking your right hand forward. Pausing here just for a moment. Variation 1, the knee is on the earth. Variation 2, we're splitting the stance. And variation 3, we'll pick up this top leg, which will be your right leg, and you're bringing your knee towards your chest, maybe the world's most toughest transition into a low lunge, but when the time is right for you, you're pivoting and landing your right foot towards the top of your mat. Keep your right hand high, charge your back leg long, gazing either to the floor or to your top hand. Stay and breathe for 2. Stay and breathe for 1. And on your next exhalation, grounding through your hand, please slide back to your high plank. And when you are ready, rolling your back towards us, please feel free to ground through your bottom leg or to come with your legs long and your feet split. And then we're lifting through that top knee, which will be your left knee, pausing and holding, working the stability of the whole body for 1 more full breath. And then spot your landing towards the top of the mat. You might have to take a couple little steps to get there or even help yourself. But once you've arrived safely, taking that left hand high. How long can you stretch from fingertip to fingertip? And how long can you make that back leg? Take 1 more full breath in. And on your exhalation, ground the hand. Let's step to the top of our mat. Inhaling as we do so, maybe feet hip distance or big toes together. Exhaling into your forward fold. We rise and reach all the way up to our extended mountain before releasing our hands down and around to Samastitihi. Inhale. So we'll build just a little flow out of the sequence. On your exhalation, leading with your heart, release your head and shoulders last. On your in-breath, lifting through your heads, lifting through your hearts before stepping or hopping, transitioning through your chaturanga on knees or toes, taking a baby cobra or an upward facing dog before lifting your hips up and back, downward facing dog. When the time is right for you, please roll your way forward through one of those spinal ripples from down dog into your version of up dog, knees down or elevated, before lifting yourselves up and back. Please float to the tips of your toes as you take a breath in. On your exhalation, bend your knees a lot, look at the end of your mat, and step your left foot between your hands. Pivot your back foot and navigate your way into a warrior 2 shape, please. So taking a moment to check hip and knee alignment. Gazing down that middle fingernail, finding connection to your feet, strengthen your core, and smoothness in your breath. Keep your legs exactly as they are and reach for your right foot. So like you're stretching towards the back of your mat. Taking 1 more breath, maybe descend a little bit more into your legs. And then please land your right hand, flip the palm on your left, reach high. Take your left hand to your left shoulder and then lift deliberately through that elbow as you descend maybe a tiny bit more into your left knee. 2 more breaths in this modified sun warrior. 1 more full deep breath in and out. On your in-breath, please lengthen both your arm and your leg before you ease your way into your version of triangle pose. So hand on your thigh, your shin, your ankle, and gazing skywards only if the neck will allow. Wherever you are, grip with your feet, energize your legs, your core, and then find the connection back to your breath. Taking 1 more full breath in, listen. On the out breath, flip this hand into the curve of your lower back. Deliberately roll your top shoulder open again. 1 more full, deep, smooth breath in. On our exhalation, we'll gaze to our left big toe, bend deeply into our left knee. Rise back to your sun warrior, but leave your right hand as it is as you once again lengthen through that front leg. Turn your toes towards us, and then please begin to ground that hand just on the earth momentarily. Please bend your knees as much as you need or lengthen, but pressing into your left hand so that you have a long, buoyant spine. Finding connection to your feet, depth in your breath. Just take 2 more breaths in this elevated position. One more full breath in. And on your exhalation, turn your toes slightly out, bend your knees really deeply, and then just transition your left hand to your left thigh, keeping your right hand in the curve of your lower back. So just a different approach to your skandasana. Finding breath, finding length, finding strength for 2 more breaths, please. One more full breath in. And then however we manage to get to the other end of the mat into our low lunge, we'll get there. Slide back to your high plank. And now roll to your right hand. So pivoting once again into that side plank variation. Option to ground your knee. Option to leave the legs long. Or picking up through that top leg, which is now your left leg, please. 2 breaths remaining. One more deep breath before you try and transition to your low lunge. Keeping that left hand reaching skywards, charging your back leg long. 2 full breaths in. One more goodbye breath in. And on that exhalation, releasing. Step to the top of your mat, which is now the end of your mat. Lift your heads and hearts. Exhaling into your forward fold. Rise and reach as you press your palms overhead. Look to your thumbs. Hands down and around to Samastitihi. Last time through our flow. Inhale. How tall can you grow? On your exhalation, over we go, releasing heads, releasing shoulders. On our in-breath, lifting heads, lifting hearts before stepping or hopping, transitioning through our chaturanga on knees or toes. Energize and open, cobra or up dog before lifting up and back, down dog. One spinal roll forward on the in-breath, ripple, roll, land the knees, open front body. And on your exhalation, lifting hips up and back, downward facing dog. On our in-breath, to the tips of our toes. On the out-breath, bend the knees. It is your right foot stepping between your hands. Pivot your back foot, rising to your warrior 2. So once we've arrived, we do that hip and knee alignment check. Knee over ankle. And making sure we can see our big toe on the inside of the right knee. When the time is right for you, leave your knees exactly as they are, but reach energetically with your left hand. So pausing here for just one more breath before you land through your left hand, right hand high, sink just a little lower, bend your right elbow to your right shoulder, and now lift your elbow to exaggerate the curve through the waist. Last 3 breaths. For 2. One more full breath in and out. On the in-breath, we reach high, we lengthen the right leg, turn towards us, bringing that hand into the curve of your lower back before we gently bend the knees as much as we need to ground into that toe. Once you're ready, lengthen, lift your heart, lift your head, pausing here. And having a moment where I've realized we forgot triangle pose. So we're going to have to return to that other posture in a moment. Let's take 2 more breaths before we do. One more full breath in. And on your exhalation, turn your toes out, bend your knees, deja vu, rise up, return back to this end of the mat, and you're finding Trikonasana. We'll take the hand high for just 2 breaths, so that everything feels equal and even. One more breath, please. Before we flip the thumb, coming into the curve of the lower back. Deliberately loop that shoulder, turning your eye gaze perhaps skywards for 3 more breaths. One more full breath in. Before we gaze to the big toe, bend the knee deeply, rising once again to your sun warrior. Listen, you're going to turn towards us. And as we shift to that skandasana, we'll complete all of the postures we needed to do, just in a slightly different order. 3 breaths remaining. So we're pressing the knee towards the second and the third toe, fiercely pressing into the pinky toe of the right foot. Taking one more deep breath in before we all pivot to our low lunge. Slide to high plank, transitioning through your chaturanga. We open front body on the in-breath before we lift up and back, downward facing dog. Ready? We've got a ripple back to our plank. Come to side plank. And when you are ready, option to ground your knee, option to split your stance, or that final tricky variation of picking up through your top leg, which is your right leg. Stay and breathe for 3. Stay and breathe for 2. One more full breath in before we transition to the top. Pause, reach, hold, and breathe for 2. One more breath in before releasing the hand down. Slide to your high plank. Pause here. We've got 5 yogi push-ups before we move onward. So breath in as we shift forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale to rise. If you, like Aden, can do a clap with your push-up, you're welcome to do so. But me, I'll just keep flowing this way for 3 more. Inhale forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale to rise. Pause. Last 2. Inhale forward. Exhale to descend. Inhale to rise. Exhale to pause. One more. Little shift forward. Belly strong. Eyes forward. Push the earth away before landing in child's pose, please. Knees wide, big toes together. Releasing all tension, all effort. 2 deep breaths remaining. One more, please. And when you decide the time is right, we'll transition our way into down dog just to prepare for pigeon pose. So shift your weight forward, tuck your toes, lifting through your pelvis. It will be your right leg that's rising. The pelvis can stay level. The leg does not need to lift high. If it feels good to you, you're welcome to open the hip. But we're just staying for 2 breaths, creating a little bit more length in those hamstrings before rising to the tips of our left toes, stepping between our hands and landing gently in pigeon. If pigeon traditionally doesn't feel good, this is your option 90-90. And if it feels available, we're rolling up and over. Please take a moment to tuck your back toes and really exaggerate the lift of your back thigh. And then also exaggerate the lift and the length of your front body just for 2 more breaths. And when you decide the time is right, release your knee, release your toes, lower yourselves to your forearms. You're welcome to reach your arms outwards. Just finding the position that really honors how your body is feeling. I'd like for you to stay for 2 more breaths in the shape that you are in. And then you can either take an open twist or a closed twist. So we'll start with the open twist, grounding through the left hand, threading the right palm through, grounding through the elbow, the shoulder, maybe the forehead. You can leave your left hand exactly as it is. You could reach it forward, or you could also loop it into the curve of your lower back. Just 2 breaths here. One more breath with the option to stay exactly as you are. So if you're feeling the perfect amount of sensation, stay. If you feel like you would like to explore a little bit more, you'll thread your palm through, So it's your right hand grounding, left hand through. And once again, you can leave your right hand by your face, by your head. You could reach it forward, or you could loop it into the curve of your lower back. 3 breaths to stay. One more, please. And when you are ready, please ground into that hand. Ease your way up and out of whichever shape you chose. Take a seat onto your right hip and please bring your back leg all the way around. Once you've arrived there, I'd like for you to cross your right foot just above your left knee. Energizing through your left toes. And variation 1, place your hands behind you for support and focus on your posture. Option 2, you could hold onto your foot and your knee and ease yourself forward. And variation 3, if it feels like it's accessible, available to reach for your shin, your ankle, or your foot, please do. Keep lengthening the spine as you deepen the breath. And your focal point is your big toe. Full breath in through the nose. Slowly softening out through the nose. Just one more breath as you are. And when the time is right for you, lifting through your heads, your hearts, ease your way back. We'll point this foot and we'll slide it across the body. Once you've arrived there safely, you're going to turn towards the pinky toe side. So Aden's going to stay with variation 1, just sitting really tall, drawing his left foot back and drawing his core in. Variation 2, we'll slide towards the pinky toe a little bit further. So still creating rotation, but adding a little bit of flexion or lateral flexion. Now, if you don't need the support of your left hand, could you reach it high on a diagonal? So you're creating one beautiful diagonal from fingertip to fingertip for 2 more breaths. One more full breath in and out. On your next in-breath, return your eye gaze to your toes. On your exhalation, release your twist. And please release that leg. Boat pose when you're ready. So we'll bend both knees. We'll ground through both feet. And we'll take a moment to decide whether we're holding our legs or releasing our hands. And then only if it feels safe, a little lift of the toes, maybe shins parallel to ceiling. Staying and breathing for 3 more breaths here, please. For 2. One more full breath in before we navigate our way through a vinyasa. So you might cross your feet and roll over your knees, or you might swing them around, but we end up in high plank. We transition through chaturanga. We take our baby cobra or our upward facing dog before we lift our hips up and back, downward facing dog. Beautiful crew, please come back to plank position. And then we're landing our knees and coming to our forearms. So option 1 on our knees, option 2 on our toes. And Aden's going to demonstrate variation 3, because this is his idea. He's walking his arms further forward. So the longer the levers get, the more intensity there is. So stacking shoulder over elbow or extending the elbow beyond the shoulder joint. 3 more breaths wherever you are. For 2. One more deep breath in. If you went with Aden, walk your forearms back. And then we're all coming back onto our hands before sending our hips high into our downward facing dog. Our left leg needs to rise. It doesn't need to lift high. So square pelvis or open pelvis, just staying for 2 or 3 breaths. And when you decide the time is right, easing our way through to our pigeon pose. 90-90 is available. Or coming up and over. And then I'd like for you to really energize your back leg. Open through front body, lift through your chin, lift through your chest. Taking 2 more breaths, please. 1 more breath in. And when you're ready, release your knee, release your toes, release your forearms, your heads. Just finding the position that feels best. Maybe stacking your fists, supporting your forehead. There's 2 more breaths as you are. And then that invitation to take an open twist with us if you'd like. It will be your right hand that grounds, your left palm that threads through. And we can leave the right hand just by the face for support. We could reach it long, or we could also loop it into the curve of our lower back. Staying and breathing. One more breath. Not quite done. And when you're ready, gently easing your way up and over before threading through to the other side, or you're welcome to stay as you are. So right hand by the face, or threading through. You could also reach your right hand high or come into the curve of your lower back. 2 breaths remaining. And when you and your body are ready, you'll ground through both hands, you'll lift through your hearts, you'll take a seat onto your left cheek as you bring your right leg around. Right leg out long, left foot crosses over, dorsiflexion through your foot, and please feel free to ground your hands behind you for some support. Option to bring the hands to the foot and the knee, and then easing your way forward any amount that feels wonderful to your body. Steady your eyes on your big toe, smoothing and lengthening your breath for 3 more. One more breath, please. Rising on your in-breath. Exhaling on your out-breath, threading this leg over so that your pinky toe is now on the earth, energizing through your right foot. And option 1, taking a gentle twist with Aden. Variation 2, you'll slide towards the pinky toe side, still maintaining a twist. And then that final option of reaching on a diagonal, gazing towards your back hand or gazing over your back shoulder for 2 more breaths. 1 more breath, please, before we gently return our eyes on our in-breath and exhale to ease our way out. One last time in boat pose, but we'll move between boat and canoe. So finding either hands on the earth, hands on your hamstrings, or releasing. We'll take a breath in together. And on the exhalation, you lower from a boat to a canoe. And then on your in-breath, you hope that you can get back to your boat. On the exhalation, lower. There's a few rapids. On the in-breath, returning. There's 5 more. Exhaling to lower. Inhaling to return. 3 to go. Exhaling to lower. Inhaling to return. Last 2. Exhale to lower. Did I miscount? Probably. Inhale to rise. 1 more time, pause and stay here. Bring your hands just to your head. On your exhalation, opposite elbow to knee. Inhale to lengthen. On the exhalation, opposite elbow to knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Inhale to lengthen. Last 2. Exhale to twist. Inhale to lengthen 1 more time. Supervision by Sky. And then gently let everything release down Take a moment in stillness. Let your legs come long. Sky, would you lay down for me? Lay down, girl. Or go to Aden. Come on, puppy. Go to Aden. Howdy, girl. Howdy, girl. Sky, it's time for Shavasana. Yeah. Take a moment in stillness. But we need to finish with a little bit of a twist, hey? So when you are ready, we'll bend our knees. We'll send our arms wider into a cactus. Please shift your pelvis slightly to your right and let your knees gently journey to your left. So you could keep both knees bent. You could straighten your top leg. You could straighten your bottom leg. Any variation on your twist that feels best to your body. We're finding connection back to the internal places and spaces within our body. And as we just let everything release and relax, always taking time to celebrate our efforts, to celebrate each other. One more full breath in and out. On your in-breath, you'll return your eyes, you'll return your knees, and then simply shift your pelvis a little bit to your left. Your knees will transition to the right. Your eye gaze, Sky, your eye gaze is either to the ceiling or looking to your left. Whatever variation you took on the first side, both knees bent, one leg straight, maybe both legs straight. You'll repeat that same pattern here, please. Flooding the left side of the body with your breath, with your awareness. As you take 2 more breaths. And then please return your eyes, return your knees, and I'd like for you to end in happy baby pose. So option just to hug your knees towards your chest, to separate your knees, or to stand on the ceiling. Laughter's good for the soul, isn't it? Yes, it is. You're so funny. You're not the best distraction for Shavasana. Stay and breathe. Last 2 breaths. And then finally, knees to chest. Let's attempt to take a couple moments in stillness. Sky's got her Ujjayi breath down to perfection. Laughter's medicine for the body, right? And puppies are good for our souls. So scanning the body, creating just a ripple of relaxation as you take a couple full deep breaths in and out. Practicing gratitude for any 2-legged, 4-legged, finned, feathered, furred friends we have. And this idea of loving kindness, that definitely is deeply embedded in the yoga tradition. May I be happy. May I feel safe. May I feel free. May I live with ease. May all living beings be happy. May all living beings be free. May all living beings live with peace. Taking 2 more breaths as you are. And when the time is right for you, you'll begin to breathe a little more fully and deeply, remaining centered within your own space, but beginning to expand your awareness with your breath, inviting gentle movement into your fingers, your toes, your hands, your feet, a little rolling through your pelvis, your shoulders, your necks. And if it feels good and your shoulders will allow, a full body stretch from fingertip to toe, before sliding your arms down and around, bending your knees one at a time. We gather our knees to our hearts to deload our spines. We rock gently for a moment to return mobility to our lower back. And then we roll lightly to the right hand side of the body, just lingering for a single breath before pressing the earth away, rising to a seated position, finding the lift of the heart, the length of your spine, stacking your ears on your shoulders right above your pelvis. And with your hands at Andali Mudra, we take one last full deep breath together before closing our practice with a bow. Namaste. From our heart to yours. We hope you enjoyed this crazy pet-filled practice, and we hope to see you soon.